SFB bank many years ago, and then he went off to Paris, France. The same bank where he stayed there for many years. In more recent times, he stayed as governor of the Central Bank of the Bahamas from 1997 to the year 2005. I think after that, he stayed as president or chairman of the Grand Mountain Water Authority. Is that correct? President or chairman?
You really don't know.
Presently, he
on the
serves
paper.
as the executive chairman of the Bahamas Telecommunications Company, and he has been the non-executive director of the Bank of Butterfield and Sons since 2007. Mr. Julian holds a BSc degree.
What other companies?
And an MBA degree in finance from New York University. For the recurrence and guests, please welcome Mr. Julian Francis, who I think will talk to us about BTC and also explain to us about that challenge that he issued to the union. All right.
President, officers of the Rotary Club of West Nassau. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'd like to first of all thank the President and his officers for the invitation to come to for lunch and say how pleased I am to have the opportunity to visit the West Nassau Rotary again. I checked, and the last time I was here was August of 2008, when in fact the subject was privatization as well. I was asked, in fact, to talk a little bit about the privatization of BTC and the status of that project. And I thought that it would probably, giving consideration to the fact that, as you know, the transaction was signed on Tuesday of this week by the government, I thought that this would be a good opportunity to provide some information to those who are interested about some of the aspects of the transaction. And so what I'd like to do with your agreement is to provide just a brief overview of where things are today. And then I would suggest that we might throw the floor open to questions that you might have, again, regarding how this transaction is structured. I believe that there's a lot of interest in this privatization. And so I would assume that there will be some of you who would like to ask about specific things. Let me just remind you that I have been privileged to have been appointed to the privatization committee appointed by the government in March of 2008 to advise the government on the transaction. And I've served as the deputy chairman of that committee together with 7 other persons, including the chairman, Mr. T. Vanderbilt Donaldson. And so I think it's probably fair to say I have a reasonably good understanding of how the thing has been structured. And so I'd be happy to share any details of that with you today, especially since the documentation which the government has signed has now been made public, and some of you might have had an opportunity to look at it. But for those of you who haven't, again, I'd be happy to explain how it works. Now let me begin, and I'll keep this rather brief. I'll try to keep this maybe to about 10 minutes, and then we'll use the rest of the time for any questions. Let me begin by saying that I think that the best way to characterize this transaction is it's a strategic partnership between the government of the Bahamas and the Via Cable and Wireless, which is a UK company. And as I think you know, Cable and Wireless have agreed to acquire 51% interest in BTC, and with that, the management and operational control of BTC. Now, the government of the Bahamas will continue to hold initially 49% of BTC's capital. And the government will also reserve the right to veto or to decide on a certain number of very important issues related to the future operation of BTC. I'd like to just give you a flavor for that because I think that's very important. It's very important that the public understands how important the government views the continuing governance of BTC and how significant these measures are which the government has said. We want to be sure that any decisions relating to these issues